Picture this. It's your birthday. Everyone starts singing. The cake comes out, candles lit, all eyes on you. And instead of feeling joy, your stomach drops. Your face gets hot. You don't know where to look, what to do with your hands, or how to make it stop. For some people, that's the best part of the day. For others, it's the worst 30 seconds of the whole year.
Hi. Ever wonder why you do the things you do? Or feel what you feel without knowing why? Welcome to Psych Owl, where we break down the psychology behind every emotion, every habit, every quiet thought you've never said out loud. No jargon, no lectures, just the science of you, explained simply. If you've ever wanted to understand your own mind a little better, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's continue. If you've ever wanted to sink into the floor the moment a room turned its attention to you, or if you know someone who does, stick around. Because this isn't about shyness. It's about something a lot deeper and a lot more common than most people realize. Let's start with the obvious assumption, the one almost everyone makes. People think hating attention means you're insecure, or that you have low self-esteem, or that you just need more confidence. But that's not usually what's happening. Here's a better way to think about it. Attention is exposure, and exposure feels different depending on what your brain has learned to expect from being seen. Think of it like standing under a spotlight. For some people, that spotlight feels warm, like proof they matter. For others, that exact same light feels like an interrogation lamp. Suddenly, every flaw is visible, every mistake is magnified. Every eye in the room becomes a judge. Same light, completely different experience. So what actually creates that difference? A lot of it comes down to something psychologists call self-monitoring. It's the internal habit of watching yourself the way you imagine others are watching you. Everyone does this a little, but some people do it constantly, and attention cranks that dial all the way up. The second a room focuses on them, their brain switches into a kind of internal broadcast mode. Every word gets prejudged before it leaves their mouth. Every movement gets reviewed in real time. It's exhausting, and it's happening in a fraction of a second, every single time attention lands on them. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just personality. For a lot of people, it traces back to specific moments. Maybe there was a time growing up when being noticed meant being criticized, a teacher who called them out, a sibling comparison that stung, a moment of being laughed at for a wrong answer in front of the entire class. The brain is really good at pattern recognition, and once it learns that seen equals unsafe, it doesn't forget that easily. Even years later, even in completely safe situations, that old alarm can still go off. So when someone tenses up during a toast in their honor, or dodges a compliment, or avoids eye contact when a room turns to them, it's not modesty. It's often an old alarm system, still doing its job long after the danger is gone. There's another layer to this too, and it might be the most misunderstood part. Some people don't hate attention because they feel unworthy of it. They hate it because they feel responsible for it. Think about what happens the moment attention shifts to someone. There's an unspoken expectation. Say something interesting, react the right way, perform gratitude or humility or humor, whatever the moment calls for.
For people who already carry a lot of self-awareness, that expectation can feel like pressure, not flattery. It's not everyone is looking at me. It's everyone is looking at me and now I have to get this right. That's not fear of being seen. That's fear of disappointing people while being seen, and the two get mistaken for each other constantly. Here's a distinction worth making, because it changes everything about how you understand this. There's a difference between social anxiety and attention aversion. Social anxiety tends to worry about judgment before anything even happens. Will they like me? Will I say the wrong thing? Will I embarrass myself? Attention aversion is different. It's not about anticipating judgment. It's about the sheer physical intensity of being observed in the moment it's happening. Some people can handle a one-on-one conversation with total ease, and still feel their skin crawl the second a whole room turns toward them. Same discomfort, two very different sources. And this is where it gets almost paradoxical. Some of the most capable, high-performing people you know might hate center stage attention the most. Why? Because competence and comfort with attention aren't the same skill. Someone can be brilliant at their job, deeply respected, completely in control behind the scenes, and still dread being handed a microphone in front of a crowd. Being good at something and being comfortable being watched while doing it are two entirely separate systems in the brain. That's why a surgeon can operate calmly under pressure, but freeze during a toast at their own wedding. Different kind of spotlight, different kind of exposure. So if this is you, here's something worth hearing. Disliking attention doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It might just mean your nervous system associates being watched with being evaluated. And evaluation, even a positive one, still feels like risk. The good news is that association isn't permanent. It was learned, which means slowly it can be unlearned too. Not by forcing yourself into every spotlight available, but by finding small, low-stakes moments of being seen and letting your brain collect new evidence that it's actually safe. And if you're someone who loves attention, someone who lights up the second all eyes turn your way, this might be the moment to understand the people around you who don't. They're not being difficult. They're not being falsely humble. Their spotlight just feels different than yours. So next time someone shrinks the moment a room turns to them, maybe don't push them further into it. Maybe just let them know they're safe there, even without the performance. Because sometimes the most attention-avoidant person in the room isn't hiding from you. They're just waiting to feel safe enough to stop hiding at all. If this explains someone you know, or maybe explained you, drop a comment. Are you someone who lights up under attention, or someone who wants to disappear the moment it arrives? And if you've ever wondered why some people crave the spotlight while others run from it, even in the exact same room, that gap says a lot more about the brain than most people expect. That's actually what we're covering next.